Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news in what could be one of the most shocking and potentially game-changing rumors of the NFL offseason. The buzz around the league is pointing towards a blockbuster trade that could reshape the landscape of the AFC East and give the Bills an even more formidable edge on their quest for Super Bowl glory. We're talking about the possibility of the Kansas City Chiefs moving their all-pro defensive tackle, Chris Jones, to Buffalo. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't just idle speculation. The rumors are heating up, and if it comes true, it could be a defining move for the Bills' defense and their championship ambitions. Now, let's break down why this would be such a game-changer for Buffalo. Chris Jones, a dominant force on the interior line, is having another stellar season in 2025. His stats speak volumes. He's already accumulated 2 sacks and 5 tackles for loss, and he's been a consistent disruptor, with high grades from PFF and solid EPA pressure numbers. His run-stopping ability is elite, with an 85% stop rate, and he's been healthy, missing minimal time this year. Over his career, Jones has amassed a jaw-dropping 82, 5 sacks and 92 tackles for loss, making him one of the most feared interior linemen in the league. His ability to collapse the pocket and pressure quarterbacks is second to none, and his versatility allows him to excel against both the run and the pass. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are in a tricky spot. After winning a Super Bowl not too long ago, they are now in a bit of a rebuild phase, their record sitting at 6-6, and dealing with a roster that's trying to find its footing post-dynasty. Kansas City's cap situation is tight, and they've been focusing more on extending their offensive line to protect Patrick Mahomes and improve their offense, which has been somewhat inconsistent this season. Their defense, while still talented, has been leaking points, giving up about 24 points per game, which is a bit of a concern for a team that's used to being dominant on both sides of the ball. They've been releasing some expensive players, including Jones, to free up cap space and bolster their draft picks, especially in the first round of 2026. For Buffalo, this potential move could be nothing short of monumental. The Bills' interior defensive line has been a concern lately, especially with injuries to key players like Hogt, who's out for the season with an Achilles injury. Their run defense has struggled, allowing 259 points over the season, and the need for a disruptive force inside has become evident. Adding Chris Jones would immediately elevate their pass, rush, and run-stopping capabilities. His presence alone could boost their projected sacks by around 22%, making their front seven a nightmare for opposing offenses. It would also improve their EPA per rush, pushing it up by about plus 0.18, and significantly tighten their run defense, which has been giving up too many yards on the ground. But what makes this even more intriguing is how Jones could impact the Bills' playoff run, especially with the AFC looking more competitive than ever. Buffalo's defense, already ranked in the top 8, would become even more formidable with Jones anchoring their interior. His ability to disrupt plays, create turnovers, and pressure quarterbacks like Mahomes or Mac Jones could be the difference in tight playoff battles. His recent performances against rivals have showcased his dominance, relentless disruption, interior pressure, and game-changing plays. A player of his caliber could be the X-factor in the postseason, tipping the scales in the Bills' favor against division foes like the Patriots, or even the Chiefs if they meet again. Looking at the bigger picture, the Bills' Super Bowl odds could see a significant bump with this move. Currently sitting at around plus 1,200, some betting markets are beginning to shift, with some suggesting the odds could move to plus 600 if the trade happens and Jones hits his stride in Buffalo. The combination of a top 8 defense and the added firepower inside could make Buffalo a serious contender. Their chances against division rivals and in the AFC overall would rise dramatically, especially with a defense that can dominate the line of scrimmage in the playoffs. It's no exaggeration to say that Chris Jones could be the centerpiece of a Bills defense that aims to dominate for years to come. Now, from a strategic perspective, Buffalo would be taking a big risk by trading for Jones, especially given the high draft pick and cap implications. but their front office has shown in recent years that they're willing to go all in when the opportunity arises. If they can acquire Jones without sacrificing too much future capital, it could be a move that cements their status as Super Bowl favorites. Pairing him with the likes of Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones could give Buffalo a front that's not just good. It could be the best in the league, a true fortress that opposing offenses dread. This would also send a message to the rest of the league. Buffalo is serious about reclaiming their throne and is willing to make bold moves to do so. And let's not forget the ripple effect across the AFC. The Chiefs, now possibly losing their top interior defender, would face a different reality on defense. They're likely to look elsewhere for interior help, but their depth could be tested, and that might weaken their front in critical moments. For the Bills, this trade could tip the scales in their favor for a deep playoff run, especially considering their upcoming matchups against AFC contenders like the Patriots and Chiefs. The Bills' coaching staff, led by Sean McDermott, would have an even more versatile and dangerous defense to deploy, making it harder for opponents to game plan against them. This rumor is still just that, a rumor, but it's one that has Bills fans buzzing. Imagine a defensive line that features Von Miller, Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, and now Chris Jones. That's a nightmare for any offensive line in the league. It's the kind of move that could define a franchise's era, similar to the Bills' historic defenses of the early 90s or their recent playoff runs that came up just short. But with Jones in the fold, Buffalo's chances to push through to the Super Bowl and finally get over the hump look even brighter. Of course, there are still questions. Will the Chiefs actually move him? Will the Bills be willing to part with a first-round pick in 2026? How will this fit into their cap situation? But if history has taught us anything, the Bills' front office has been aggressive and strategic when it counts. They've shown they're not afraid to make bold moves if it means winning now. And if this trade goes through, it could be the move that propels them into the next level, a true championship contender with a defense that strikes fear into their opponents. In the end, we're all just waiting for the official confirmation, but the signs point toward a very real possibility that Buffalo could be getting a defensive cornerstone of the caliber that they've desperately needed. Adding Chris Jones would send a message to the entire league. Buffalo is back, and they're here to stay. It's a story that could define this offseason, and for Bills fans, it's a reason to be more optimistic than ever about the future. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think the Bills should pull the trigger and go all in for Chris Jones? How would he change your expectations for this team heading into the playoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Buffalo Bills news. Let's keep the passion alive and get ready for what could be an incredible stretch of football ahead. Go Bills!